Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Quantum Success Show, where you get your information and inspiration to create your desires. Are you an empath? And why is it important to know if you're an empath? I am super excited to have this conversation about being an empath or to not empath. That is the question, really. So I have two amazing beings of light that are with me on this conversation on this show. And the first one I want to introduce is Anita Moorjani. Am I saying your name right?
You are.
Oh,
yes,
perfect.
absolutely
Awesome.
perfect.
Awesome. So Anita is an international speaker and the author of a New York Times bestselling book called Dying to Be Me. And her latest book, What If This Is Heaven, has an amazing, remarkable story. After a 4-year battle with cancer, Anita fell into a coma and was given days to live. And as her doctors gathered, attempting to revive her, she journeyed into a near-death experience, which she was surrounded by unconditional love and deep wisdom. And in this place, she was given a powerful truth. Heaven is not a destination. Amen to that. It's a state of consciousness. Yes. So during her near-death experience, Anita was given the choice to return to her physical form or to continue onto this expansive new realm. And guess what she chose? Well, I'm sure you guessed because she's here with us. And that's amazing that she would choose to come back. I want to know why you chose to come back when you felt that expansionist. When she regained consciousness, the cancer that had caused her organs to shut down began to heal. And to the amazement of her doctor, she was free of countless tumors and cancer within weeks. So her near-death experience has captured the hearts and attentions of millions across the globe. I'm super excited to have her on our show. Today, Anita, who lives in the United States with her husband, Danny, continues to share her incredible story and lessons internationally. She's been on the Dr. Oz show, Fox News, the Today Show, CNN Anderson Cooper 360, National Geographic Channel, the Pearl Report in Hong Kong, and to just go on and on. Dying to Be Me has sold millions of copies worldwide and has been translated into 45 languages and has now been optioned by Hollywood producer Ridley Scott to be made into a full-length feature. Prior to her cancer diagnosis, Anita lived in Hong Kong and worked with the corporate world for several years. So welcome, Anita. I'm so excited to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here, and it's so good to meet you and your audience.
Yes. Well, we're not done yet because I have another special guest. So we're doing a 3-part series here, a 3-part interview. And super excited to reintroduce my family to who I call Jen, but her name is Jennifer McLean. And she is an internationally acclaimed healer, author, speaker, edge pusher, amen to that, sister, and transformational change agent. She is the creator of the renowned healing accelerant, the spontaneous transformation technique that delivers instant transformation and healing. And so for more than 2 decades, Jennifer, this amazing, innovative healing modality has helped tens of thousands of individuals shift held energy in the body. And people have been experiencing, have been able to liberate themselves from old hurts and patterns and obstacles that lead to disease and upset and create new neural pathways of patterns of quantum wholeness. I love that, Jen. With almost 1,000 practitioners to this unique system, it's quickly become the go-to for creating real change in extreme times. Jennifer also has an uncanny knack for assisting healers in discovering their personal unique healing modality. And she is one of my favorite people on the planet. She, of course, has appeared on Fox and ABC and CBS affiliates and many, many online summits. And she is just, she's written 5 best-selling books, covered in 5 best-selling books and dozens of online healing programs. Jennifer.
Hey, Christy.
So happy you're back.
It's so great to be here.
You were on the show a couple of different times, and my favorite one was when we were in Maui under the supermoon with Natalie Ledwell.
Oh my God, that was so cool. I remember that. I have a still frame of the moon set, of the moon rise, or the moon set and the sunrise. Yes, I
it was
remember that thing
amazing.
on the beach with you and Nat.
It was amazing. And it was one of
Yes.
my favorite shows to do. So
And
I,
I am so excited to be here with Anita Moorjani because, like, Anita is my freaking hero. And I say this a lot. She giggles every time I say it.
I do.
Anita freaking Moorjani, man. So, Anita freaking Moorjani. She's here with us today, and she's just a rock star teacher, healer, transformational change agent as well. So I'm just so delighted and honored to be here with both of you, and to be participating with Anita in some, we'll talk about that later, but something that's really cool. We did a workshop together, and we're offering quizzes and ebooks and webinars and all kinds of fun stuff, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But hi, Anita.
Hi, thank you so much. I love it. I love that we're here together again. And yes, we had so much fun creating our workshop together, and just love you and love working with you. Thank you, Jen.
Jen's pretty amazing. I'll have to agree.
Yep.
And I'm
She's
delighted to get
Jen's
to know
the
you.
rock star.
So let's get into it. I want to talk about empaths. And I know there's a lot of people, I know what the council has to say, and I can share that obviously as I interject, things of that the council have said about empaths. But I want to hear both of your perspective on empaths, and why more than ever is it important to understand if you are an empath, and how you know if you are, and what the good part of being an empath is, right? Because I hear a lot of times people are saying, oh, I'm an empath. And then that's almost as an excuse to isolate and not be in the world because they're so sensitive to other people's energy.
Right. So I want to just start by saying that Anita has created really original, brand new material. And she's identified 4 different archetypes of empath. And so, so not only, I'll pass this off to Anita to initiate the conversation, but I wanted to just share that this is brand new material that she's brought from the other side about these 4 types. And it's really profoundly transformational when you understand which archetype you are. So I'll pass this off to Anita to initially answer that question.
Awesome.
And thanks for framing that, Jen. That gave me a really good framework about how to take this forward. So basically, a lot of people are empaths, but they don't realize they are empaths. And those who do realize it, kind of just as you said, Christy, they kind of feel, they use it as an excuse to not engage, because it's almost like as if it's a curse or a handicap or something like that. Yes. But that's not the case. So one of the things that that this course does, that I created together with Jen, because Jen is such an amazing powerhouse and a doer. She was just the absolute right person to partner with. One of the things this course does is that it empowers empaths. And first of all, it identifies, when you take the quiz, you identify whether you are an empath or not. If you've never known you were an empath, the minute you take the quiz and you identify that you are, you immediately get this clarity. It's like, oh my God, no wonder I react this way. No wonder this happens to me. So what is an empath? An empath is somebody who feels things in their own body, in their own psyche, in their own emotions, who feels things that are not theirs. So in other words, we're in this pandemic right now, this whole COVID thing. And maybe your family is fine, you're fine, you don't have any issues, but yet you're feeling really heavy and down. And I know a lot of people are feeling this way. You've taken on energies that are not yours. And empaths tend to do that. And with empaths, it's almost like there's no boundary between where they end and other people begin. So when you watch, like, say, TV series on a TV program or a movie where somebody is being violently abused, you cringe and you feel that abuse in your own body. That tells you that you're an empath. But even when you're an empath, there are what I call different types of empaths, because there are some empaths who feel it in their body and then they wear it, they take it on. There are others who feel what other people are feeling. They feel it, but immediately they react to it and know what to do. So here's an example. For example, you have the empath who is, because they feel everything, so they feel the world is really harsh and really tough. And so they become recluses. They hide from the world. They become hermits. So we call in our program, in my archetypes, I call those the dolphin empaths. But then you have another type of empath who are, let's say, somebody who is a nurse who is really, really perceptive at what the patient needs. And they don't get psyched by it, but they immediately know before the other nurses or even before the doctor knows that, oh my gosh, the patient needs that, because they're almost able to get inside that patient's skin. But it's not something that gets them down to the point where they have to hide from the world. It's something that actually makes them immediately, because of the way their mind works, they're immediately able to see a solution for that. So they become incredibly powerful healthcare workers, nurses, maybe even frontline emergency responders, because they see something and it's like, I know what that feels like. I know how to heal it. I know how to fix it. And they're out there on the front line fixing it. We call those the sorcerer empaths. So this is why, so we have 4 different types, so first of all, you find out whether you're an empath or not. Then you find out what type of empath you are. And the idea is, after you find out what type of empath you are, then the course gives you tools to empower yourself so you don't feel like a victim. Because here's the other thing. Empaths, when they don't realize that they are empaths, tend to feel like victims in this world. We tend to feel like things are happening to us and we feel overwhelmed and we don't know what to do about it. And then, excuse me, a lot of the training that's available out there for empaths, the books we read and the training, although they're amazing, they've brought the term empath to the forefront because it's a very new term. So that people out there have done some really good work. But one element I've noticed is missing in the current work that is out there is that we're being taught as empaths to have stronger boundaries and how to protect ourselves. But I'm doing the opposite. I don't think empaths should actually hide away and protect themselves and have thicker, more and more boundaries. The more we hide ourselves, the more we remove ourselves from the world, the more we are actually removing the type of people who I believe the world needs more of right now.
Agreed.
In other words, yeah.
I just want to say something really quick, because that's exactly what the message is from the council. It's like, you don't need to retract, you need how to work with it. So I'm like,
yes.
I'm just shaking my head going, yes. Don't retract. The world needs your light. Go ahead.
Exactly. Continue. That's exactly right. The world needs empaths' light more than ever. So we're not supposed to have bigger boundaries, stronger boundaries. We're supposed to learn to use our gifts and shine our light and be more powerful. And that's what this course aims to do. It's so that we can actually transform the world instead of hiding away as empaths. Mm-hmm. Because what's been happening is, as empaths hide, the world gets hijacked by the more aggressive people among us. So that's really the idea of the course.
And Anita has identified not only the empath archetypes, she's also identified the non-empaths and the predators that are on the planet. And one of the things that that is really important to point out here is that this is not labeling. You know the old idea of label and divide, label and divide.
Yes, right.
That is the opposite of what this material is. What's happening is it's labeling to empower the empath. It's actually allowing them to claim their power, that they are in fact different. So what's fascinating about what Anita has discovered and you know, some of the healing work I do now, well, first of all, what I've discovered personally, it's been a revelation to me. It's changed my life, this material, completely changed my life. I'm a sorcerer, sorcerer dragon. You can be more than one. And it's helped me so much to understand, you know, all that stuff that happened to me in childhood when I was bullied and all the things that happen now and how I react and don't react. All that material is available. Well, first of all, if you're interested in the quiz to learn which empath archetype you are, it's free below. And once you register, I'll also be giving you Anita and I will also be sharing an ebook, and there's a webinar as well. That all leads to potentially taking the course if you want, but no pressure. There's a whole bunch of free material before the course. So if you want some of that free material, just go to the links below here. The thing that I was so profoundly impacted by is that First of all, empaths are not better or not worse than. They're just different. In fact, Anita kind of outlined it as kind of like the age of the soul, if you will. That's one of the things that makes an empath different. We've just been doing this for a long freaking time. We've been down to the planet and out of the planet, and down to the planet, out of the planet. We have some mileage on our beautiful little souls, which allows us to have greater energy and greater perception. So, what I've learned is that my sensitivity is a superpower now. It is no longer something that people say you're too sensitive. I now say, well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much. You're right. I am too sensitive.
Yes. Yes.
Right. And so the empath, everything in our society is designed for non-empaths. Medicine, even the law of attraction. All of it, even the spiritual teachings, a lot of spiritual teachers have come to this planet to teach people to be empathic. And the empaths are soaking it up, right? So the empaths are saying, oh my God, I need to be of more service. No, you don't. Being of service is just a natural part of who you are. So the empath will take some of this material from some of these teachers and say, oh my God, I'm not good enough. Most of that material, not all, but most of it is designed for people who are non-empaths to say, take some personal responsibility for your life, dude. All empaths naturally take personal responsibility. All empaths naturally are of service. And so the opportunity now is for us to start seeing these things, seeing these differences, but not making it divisive, but making the empath empowered so they can stand in a new vibrational frequency, stand in the world and become the next leaders, become the next people who are no longer going to say, just because you don't understand me doesn't mean I don't. Doesn't mean that I am not important and powerful and contributing. In fact, it's not the opposite is true. In fact, when we start to see that we are powerful, we actually have more compassion and our boundaries get stronger. So we don't have to, it's a natural protection. So it's been the most beautiful, empowering, fabulous information. Every day I thank God for the Anita freaking Moorjani, that she brought this amazing material into the world. And now I've also realized that my work and the people I attract, I work almost exclusively with empaths, and I didn't know that before. So since this program that I did with Anita, and I did a lot of the healing work, and Anita did a lot of the content work, although she also did some wonderful journeys. And all of that is also there's a webinar that accompanies the quiz. And there's 2 healings. My spontaneous transformation technique, which I've realized since working with Anita, is designed for the empath. It works with the non-empath, but it really is almost exclusively designed for empaths to finally heal these old beliefs deep in the subconscious. And it's just been a remarkable, miraculous journey to understand that I'm an empath and that I get to empower other empaths. And anyway, it's been a blast.
I'm an empath and I'm proud of it.
Yeah, baby.
Yes, exactly. That's the way. You know, after I came, like I had the near-death experience because I had terminal cancer, and then all the tumors, after the near-death experience, the tumors disappeared. And over the years, I had to start I understood why I had the illness. And I realized it was because I was really sensitive and that I was very different from other people. I mean, I realized that after the fact, after I healed, I was able to understand how it was that I had got so sick. And I had never heard of the term empath before. But then when I started to read about empath, I thought, that's what it is. You mean and it surprised me that there's a word and there are other people like that. And I thought, if there are other people like that, why isn't there more information about it? And it just opened this door for me, because it was like, because what I had understood from my near-death experience is that many of us are aware that we are more than 5 sensory beings. And I had no word for this, but many of us are aware. And those of us that are aware, we are attracted to spiritual teachings, and we're more intuitive and we're aware of it. But we live in a world that is created by people who believe that we are only five sensory beings. But we are aware that we are more than five sensory beings. We're aware that we're six or more. We're not just three-dimensional beings. But we live in a world where every system in this world, our education system, our medical system, our governments, every system, everything is created by people who believe that we are five sensory separate beings living in a three-dimensional world. And it's created for people who believe that way. So we've always struggled to fit in to the systems of this world because we know there is more. We know there is more, and it's like we see life differently. And so when I discovered the word empath, I thought, empaths are probably all the people that know we're more than five sensory beings are probably empaths. Why are they being made to feel that they are the ones who are wrong, or who are woo-woo, or who have to prove themselves? Maybe they are, they can be powerful in their own way. And then I started to get all these downloads where I then started to realize that our world we have evolved to this point where we are now, based on believing we are five sensory beings, based on believing that that survival of the fittest is what works, that might is right, that we are that the strongest wins, and strength means physical power. That's what's got us up to this point. But to get to the next stage of our evolution, I think that the way we are now, like when you look at how we are with our nuclear powers and the way the governments work, I believe that if we continue in this same vein, in this direction, we will be on the brink of our own extinction. The only way to take us to the next stage of evolution is through compassion and empathy. So now is the time that empaths really do have to stand up and voice their power. And in the past, previously, spiritual teachings actually did not empower you. They kind of made you more subservient.
Yes.
I actually feel that the new spiritual teachings, what we need now for today, moving forward from 2020, we need spiritual teachings that are empowering, that empower the sensitive among us, that empower the empaths and the compassionate, so that they can feel powerful. And so they feel that, in fact, being intuitive, being sensitive is far more powerful than being physically strong or having wealth or having nuclear power. That is far more powerful for the next stage of our evolution. And they need to feel powerful enough to step up into leadership positions. That's what we need for the next stage of our evolution.
I think you need to run for president.
I know, right?
No, it's so true. It's so true. I had a couple things. Like you were saying woo woo. For me, woo woo is now it's like woohoo, right? Like that's what woo woo is. It's like it's time. And the other thing too is the power and the understanding of power. It's like it's not a power over or push through. It's a spiritual, genuine power of energy, of flow, of love. And you're right. It's time for that, and it's time for more of us that have that unique and yet available to everybody power. Because we have the divine breathing us. That it's time to share that instead of be a recluse from it, and to be ashamed of it, or to be like you were saying, Jen. My mom used to say to me all the time, "You're so sensitive," and I used to feel like so shamed about that. And about 10 years ago, I was like, wait a minute, in order for me to feel energy, I have to be sensitive. So that's right. A good thing. That's a benefit. Yes, I am sensitive. Right.
So there's one thing I want to, I've learned something really powerful that this is the first time I'm sharing it in public. That, as I work with clients and empaths, now I know they're empaths, is that when the empath, their sensitivity is in fact a superpower. When the empath claim something in their life positively, the universe says, yes, yes, right? So to the non-empath, the universe says yes. But to the empath, it says, yes, only because we have this extra vibrational capacity, right? So the double-edged sword for the empath is that when the empath claims something that is limiting, the universe still says, yes. And this is why we have so many empaths that are sick and tired. So when the empath can understand how powerful they are and start to claim the things in their life that they want, and what happens, and this is again something Anita and I taught over and over and over again in the course, is that when you see what you're claiming through your beliefs, I'm really tired, I really don't feel good, I'm really tired, I'm so sick of being poor. These are claims, and the universe is saying, yes. When we start to notice those moments and shift our attention to say, gee, I don't want to be creating that anymore in my life. And we turn our attention instead to who we actually are as incredible beings of light. And there's the course is called the Empath Wellbeing Protocol. There's a whole bunch of protocols we teach. And some of that is we've got, again, as I mentioned, we've got a ton of free stuff that goes before the course. So if the course is in the cards, don't worry. There's so much amazing free material here, including the quiz, and then there's an ebook, and there's a webinar, and there's also going to be an opportunity to work with Anita and I live. But the quiz is also a wonderful start, and you'll understand what kind of an empath you are with that quiz. And when you know that you're an empath, okay, so here's something really funny. We had tons of people in the program, and it's like halfway through the program and someone gets on the live call and says, I'm not sure if I'm an empath, right? This is very common. And we're just like, what? Like, if you are watching this right now, you are an empath. That's what empaths do. They create, they manifest, they pull this material into themselves. The non-empath will not attract this material. They will not be drawn to it. The empath is. So if you're watching it, you're an empath.
If you've turned this off already, you're not an empath.
Exactly.
Exactly. The fact that you've stayed this long, the fact that you're still tuned in, it means you are. This content interests you. Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it. So I just have one more question. Anita, when you were there in a place of pure consciousness, pure energy, pure love, like that a human, probably a mind, cannot even express or experience, what made you come back? Do you recall? Do you remember when you made that choice?
Oh, I absolutely remember. So at first, no part of me wanted to come back because it was so amazing on that side. It was really, really amazing. And I felt so loved and so free. And, all the fear was gone, the pain was gone, the discomfort, all of it. No part of me wanted to come back. And then when I learned that it wasn't my time and I still had a purpose to complete, I thought, but what's the point? My body was sick and dying. And it was at that point that I had this clarity, this understanding that now that I knew the truth of who I really am, my body would heal very, very quickly. And what I mean by that, the truth of who I really am, I realized at that point that that we, all of us, every single one of us, we are amazing, powerful, magnificent beings. And I understood that even for me to get to that point where I was lying on that hospital bed dying from end stage cancer, I got to that point because of different things I'd done in my life. In other words, I could see how every thought and decision I had made in my life and every choice I had made had led to me reaching that point. And I realized that I had lived, I call it a life of fear. And what I mean by that is that I had made all my choices from a place of fear. And that could be fear of anything, like a fear of disapproval, fear of not being liked, fear of not fitting in, and all the way down to like fear of illness, fear. So basically everything from whether I choose a job, you know, do you choose a job because you want to follow your calling and this is part of your calling? Or do you choose it because you're afraid of not having enough money and so you choose the one that pays you the most? So every choice was made from a place of fear. And what that did was, it's not even just the physical of wearing down your body, but it's about not allowing your soul to come here to express and be who it intended to be. So I had repressed my soul, coupled with the fact that I come from a culture where women are repressed and treated as second-class citizens to men. A woman's worth is measured by how valuable she is to the men in her community and in her family. And so I was very, very repressed in those ways. Like I had dreams, I had desires, but I was afraid to express them. I wanted to travel the world, but my parents wanted me to have an arranged marriage. And so I would judge myself and I would think, what is wrong with me? Why can't I fit in? And I kept thinking there was something wrong with me. I was terrible at housework and I felt there was something wrong with me because of that. And I didn't want to be a stay-at-home wife. And I thought that something was wrong with me because of that. But in my near-death experience, I realized that I'm supposed to honor who I am, whatever it is, and let my soul free and fly. And during my lifetime, it was my dad who had probably repressed me the most. And my dad had passed away before the NDE, the near-death experience, and I encountered his essence on the other side. And during my lifetime, my dad and I had a very turbulent relationship. But on the other side, all I felt from him was pure, unconditional love. And it was my dad that actually said to me, now that you know this truth, in other words, the truth that you repressed your soul, and that's why you got so sick. You were supposed to go and spread your wings. So it was my dad that said to me, now that you know this truth, go and live your life fearlessly. And that's when I realized that I can recreate that here, that heaven is a state. It's the state of realizing that your soul is supposed to be free. And you can live that state on that side or on this side. That's when I decided to come back. And beautiful. I also learned that my husband and my purpose was linked, and that if I didn't come back, he would not be able to complete his purpose either. But a key thing I wanted to mention here is that my life of fear was because of my dad. It was my dad who had instilled the fear in me during my lifetime. But in death, it was my dad who freed me from that fear.
How beautiful.
So, yeah. And so wow. I was released from it to come back and live.
Well, you know, I appreciate that so much. And thank you for sharing that, because it's so true that it's like, what are we really fearing? Because when you do pass over, you go back to non-physical and you go back to pure love and light. So there's nothing to fear on the other side. And when you bring in that energy in the now, the fear goes away because you're just light and you're bringing in more energy of light. And we can live like you're talking about. We can live that just pure connection to love and to make heaven on earth, right? Because it is a state of consciousness. It's not somewhere you go at the pearly gates where they check you off and judge you. And it's not any of that. So exactly. I so appreciate you explaining, you know, and sharing your experience of why you came back. Because many would go, why did you? Right? That was my first question. Like, if it's so great, why'd you come back? So appreciate that. So I am just going to encourage every single person that is still and started to and in the middle of watching this particular show, because obviously you're attracted to this information. You're attracted to Anita. You've attracted Jennifer and Anita together to learn more about, are you an empath? And if you know that you're an empath, what kind of empath are you? And like Jen was saying, the protocols, the absolute protocols to help you be an empowered empath and to really come out and be the purpose and do what you're here to do, to add light to this planet. Because the world needs now is more love and light, and you're the one that it channels through. It's time to step up. So go below the video and take the quiz. You can go to their webinar. I know I am going to check all of it out because, of course, I am an empath and I'm proud to be, and grateful for both of you to be here and what you're bringing to the world. Anita and your downloads, Jen and your go-gettedness to partner with Anita, and of course your own amazing healing journey and work. And I just appreciate you both for being here and letting us be enlightened by your experience together. So thank you both.
Thank you, Christy frickin' Whitman and Anita frickin' Moorjani. Yeah.
Thank you both so much. You're both amazing. Thank you for the light you both bring to the world and for the work you both do. I wouldn't be able to do what I do if I didn't have women like you supporting me, empaths like you supporting me. You're both beautiful, magical, empathic human beings. I love you both.
Thank you so much.
Love you, Anita. Love you, Christy.
I love you too, Jen. For all of you watching, please go below the video and also leave us a comment. Let us know what you're taking away. Let us know what kind of popped inside, that aha moment for you. Love to engage in that way. It's a way to continue the conversation. And I appreciate each and every one of you for being here in this co-creative experience. Bye, everybody. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you thought. Leave me a comment below and be sure to share and tag your friends. And be sure to check out my other videos here and on this site.